If you didn't see the like post on my community tab, this is a video that's being refilmed. Because right as I went to transfer what this video was to my external hard drive, don't know what happened. It's completely gone. So we're refilming this video. That's why I have horrible breakouts here, but not in the thumbnail. And my hair is not less cute, but cute on a different level. And I don't know if I love this version of the cuteness right now. Also getting to the point where I'm resenting this video. So let's see. Hello Friendzies, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, this is a refilmed video and I'm a little salty about it. I don't hate this video because it's a fun, silly video, but I really liked the footage I had of it before. And now having to refilm it, I'm like a little irritated. Anyway, I am back for the first time in I think it was 2 years with my AO3 Fic Rex that I have. This time there's no Marvel. Still no link inside on, which is hilarious because this video has to be refilmed. I've already filmed this video. I've already edited it. It was this close to being posted and then it disappeared. And I still have not gotten any link inside on fics on here. It'll be like how Skiz Family seems to drop every like 2 to 3 years. The next 2 years, I will finally have a link inside on fic, or I will just always never have it. And eventually that'll be the joke, right? All right, we're gonna get right into the fics today. I have a bunch of fics from some very interesting fandoms, I feel like, and I'm just gonna lay it out all here for you right now. I got some BL on there, and I got some ABO on there, because I'm an ABO slut. I've talked about this. I have little to no shame. Is it the autism? Probably. So I don't care. Just so everybody knows, I'm an ABO slut. And I have plenty. Not necessarily today, but plenty in my bookmarks. I almost called it a thumbnail. Let's just get into it because I'm all over the place. That is still so bright. Hold on. Perfect. So if anybody watched Love in the Air, I made the video, I don't even know how long ago, where it was like, oh my god, am I on your kin list? And one of the characters I talked about was Sky from Love in the Air, where I said it's not the same trauma, but we both have trauma, and I feel like we both deal with it in the same way. Obviously, because I know a lot of BLs are based off of, like, books, right? They're characters based off of books, but then obviously like changes are made for like the visual adaptation, like the TV adaptation. So I've never read the book of Love in the Air, but I have seen the series. And I will say, because I'm talking about if I say his name wrong, please somebody correct me. Pai and Sky. I have a fic of them because they're my favorite couple. I feel like that is kind of the general consensus of Love in the Air, is that they are the better couple, the second half of the series. I don't like Payu and Rain. I love Rain because I understand Rain. I don't know if I like Payu. I feel like maybe in the book he's better, but in the series he's really fucking weird and kind of creepy, and I feel like he gives bisexuals a bad name. Just saying. So first of all, I have When I Think of You, the Sun Comes Out by Belladonna Wick and Stratz writes. Rules, the Omega says, breathless but firm. The shirt stays on. That pings some red flags in, again, I apologize if I say his name wrong, Propai's mind, but it's not like body image issues are unheard of. His instincts are to argue, to show the Omega what it's like to be worshipped properly, to chase away those insecurities with his tongue. But he's not stupid. He knows that will only make things worse, so he nods instead. Anything you want, he promises. But can we lose this? He fingers the knot at the side of the scarf. I won't bite, I just want to scent you. The Omega, and God, Propai really needs to get his name, hesitates, fingers coming up to tease at the edges. It's a failed bond, he says, and the scarf suddenly makes perfect sense. He doesn't still claim me. I'm not having an affair. It's ABO. Does it say in the tags? You're gonna have... What side am I putting the pictures on? I think this side. It doesn't specifically say kid fic on here, but it does say teen parent. There is a child in this. It's an original character child. And you find out in like, I think at the end of chapter 1 or right at the beginning of chapter 2, it's so fucking good. I will say The first time I read it, obviously, like, I loved it and bookmarked it, gave it kudos. When I read it through again, the parts that are like sad and scary are like a little bit harder to get through, but I think that's like a me thing. I think I'm just like, I know that it ends well, so I don't like to see the suffering happening. Chef's kiss. I love Omega Sky because it never changes who he is. It just makes him more prickly, and I love that about him. Then I do have a Rain and Payu fic, but I like this one the most. I think I have like two that are bookmarked by them that are, I think they're both smut, and then this is like the only one I have that's not smut, because I will say the dynamic Rain and Payu have going on is great for a smut fic. I will say that. I know they have a dynamic going on, but I still I feel like Payu is like a weird guy. Anyway, this is one of the only ones I have. I think the only one I have that's not smut. And I like it a lot because they're not the main focus. It's like Rain and his like collection of found family. So it's Papai, it's Sky, it's like their other friends. I forgot what their other friends' names are. I was gonna say a name, but I think that's a friend from Kin Porsche, which we will be getting into. So, My Boyfriend the Not Idol by Your Favorite Needs a Hug. Nobody at all could ever blame Payu for not knowing an extremely important piece of information about his boyfriend. Oh, I feel like that's like way up in the air. Well, he thought it was an important piece of information. Rain, on the other hand, was of the mind that the less people who knew about it, the better. Because apparently, Rain used to be an idol in Korea. I was a trainee, Rain corrects. I hadn't even debuted yet, so really it's nothing. Or, Rain used to be an idol trainee before he moved back to Thailand. This is how Payu finds out and learns to live with that information. And it's part one of the Idol Rain verse, which I think is 4 parts, if I remember correctly. Again, the reason I like that so much is like, one, what a like silly, fun concept. I love that a lot. And I was reading that when I was like in the beginnings of my K-pop rediscovery. So it was interesting and fun. And again, like I said, I like it, I think, a lot because it's not super focused on Rain and Payu, which again are not my favorite couple. So I don't really like to read too much about them unless it's smutty. So that's super fun. And I know I'm going to spoil it a little bit. I know one of the parts of this is like a story of when Rain kind of like, because of the stress of school and everything, has sort of kind of starts going back to like the unhealthy eating habits he had picked up when he was a trainee. And the story like is a collection of all of his friends and like his boyfriend and Papai like helping him along the way, where like they start keeping snacks in their bags and like start making lunch plans with him and like kind of making it an event and not just like yeah, let's go get lunch. They kind of make it something special. And I really like that. I like everything about this fic. I think it's great. And it's honestly, I think it's like one of the first things I have bookmarked from my like brief watch of BLs. Not that I don't want to keep watching BLs, but I watched Love in the Air, I watched Cutie Pie, and I'm halfway through Kin Porsche. Nobody shoot me. Put the mafia guns away. I'm halfway through Kin Porsche. One, because sometimes the episodes just feel extra long, and miscommunication is one of my least favorite tropes when I, as the reader, have all the information. There are plenty of cases of miscommunication in fanfic and like in regular books where we don't have the information as readers. So it's like, okay, I get it. I get the miscommunication because I don't know what the fuck's going on either. But when I have information, I don't like that shit. And I feel like with Kin Porsche, because it's like the visual TV show, I have information and it irritates me. Also, before I get to the next fic rec, because I'm going to tell you, this fic is the reason I actually like Porsche now. Again, don't shoot me, put the mafia guns away. The first time I watched Kin Porsche and got about halfway through, I didn't like Porsche. I get that he was blackmailed, okay? If my friend Casey is watching this, she's heard this before. I get that he was blackmailed. But he made the decision to go, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go be a bodyguard for the mafia family, and then he acts like a little bitch about it for so long until he like gets his shit together and decides he's gonna take it seriously. And I didn't like that. I really liked Pete and I really liked Vegas the first time. I have these glasses, they're pink and heart-shaped, and the lenses are pink too, so they are in fact rose-colored glasses. I like to wear them because I thought Vegas, with his little yellow raincoat that he wears in the torture chamber to rip people's teeth out of their head and kill them, was adorable. Anyway, this next fic I read and was like, never mind, I like Porsche now, let me go rewatch the series. So I did not see that coming by Unpretty Barbie. The kidnapping of two, I'll put the name here because I don't know how to pronounce that without butchering it so horribly, airs, and a seemingly unimportant boy reveals something surprising about, I think you say it, Korn's head bodyguard, otherwise known as Porsche puts Kin in Vegas in a get-along sweater. And then underneath that it says, Kin, you stupid slut, get your shit together and do some investigating. You may not be Kim Lock Holmes, but I know you're a little smart. Books and Guns comment on chapter 26. And then it's also part 1 of I Did Not See That Coming. And I think it was 4 parts, but one of the parts was removed when whatever. I still don't have all the information on that, and I'm so like on the outskirts of it that I just know what happened. The cast members of Kin Porsche, whatever happened there fairly recently within the last year. So I think one of the parts was removed because it maybe, I don't know. But one of the parts has been removed. So I think it's a 3-part series at this point. I love it. I love... The thing about this fic is, like, I don't really know what it was. I just thought, I was like, Portia's kind of being a little bitch about it when I was watching the show. But this fic, I don't think it really changed Porsche as a character. I think maybe it just took, like, the times where he's being a little shit and pushed them off to the side and put, like, the rest of who he is as a person forward. Because I read this fic and I was like, never mind, I love him now. My friend Casey's gonna come get me again because the first time I watched Kin Porsche, I was like, he's annoying. When do I get to Pete in Vegas? So, highly recommend this fic specifically because it makes Porsche extra cool. And then I have like a million other, I say a million, there's probably like 20 bookmarks of Kin Porsche fics where Kin and Porsche are in fact the main focus. I have like 2 that are Pete in Vegas focused, but the 2 that I have Pete in Vegas focused are when he's not being a little psychopath, which is funny because I do think that is my favorite version of Vegas, which kind of ties into this next one, which I'm gonna explain it to you after I read it. So this is twofold, right? Fourfold. This is twofold. When I built my computer, and I think I had said this in the videos where I was talking about the computer that I have. When I built my computer, I didn't build it. I took the specs of Resident Evil 8 because it was just about to come out or had just come out, and The Sims 4, and gave them to my best friend's husband and said, build me a computer. And he did. He built this computer for me. I just paid for it. I ended up not being able to play Resident Evil 8 because of when it came out and everything, I was unmedicated and untreated for my vertigo, which is like spontaneous and crazy and just like comes out of nowhere. So I haven't been able to play first person games in a really long time. I'm thinking of like experimenting with it because now I have like ways that I know how to manage it and I also have medication for it. So I wasn't able to play first person games. Knowing that Resident Evil 8 was a first person game was like really hard for me because it made me really sad. But I do read lots of fics of Resident Evil 8, and I've seen most of the really popular playthroughs of Resident Evil 8, and I love fucked up little characters. And this is where it ties into Vegas, because I do love, don't get me wrong, especially if that's like self-insert, I do love of like literature where, and I was gonna say a fic, but I mean like in books too. I do love a self-insert where this character is just like a horrible, awful creature person, but has like a soft spot for one person. I do love that. I think it's great. But I also like horrible, awful, fucked up characters that just are that way. Like, would they maybe be different if they didn't suffer this trauma at one point in their life? Yeah, sure, whatever. But I think sometimes we need to let characters be horrible, awful, evil I think sometimes we just gotta let them do that. Like Vegas. Like Vegas probably could be different if he didn't suffer the trauma that he was suffering, but he's not different now. So that's the point. So this one is, I'm gonna say it wrong. It's embryology. Embryology. That's what it is. By Cantique. And it's Carl Heisenberg and the reader. It doesn't really matter who you are or how you got here. What matters is that you, apparently, were a dud as far as experiments go, and Mother Miranda has grown tired and impatient when it comes to spending time on imperfect and unready subjects. But she has an idea on how to produce the perfect candidate. All she needs is two identical infected test subjects of the opposite sex in 9 months. And now that you've entered the picture, it seems to be all to be coming together. Too bad neither you nor Heisenberg are willing to play along. Okay, look, I know the premise is fucked up, but I promise this is going somewhere, and it is kind of a straw that broke the camel's back scenario as far as Cowboy Magneto's loyalty to Gothbird Aunt goes, which is my favorite sentence I've ever heard in my life. So, this is one of the ones where he's still like a fucked up, weird little creature. Is it because of the trauma he faces? Yes. Is he still a weird, fucked up little character? Yes. Is it has a soft spot for the reader? Also, yes. And I also think this one's really cool because I've read a couple fics of like Resident Evil self-inserts where you get some kind of power because you were infected with the Kadu, just like the other members of Resident Evil 8. And this one, I think I really liked the power that you get. Is that a spoiler? I don't know. I put the picture up. It says it in the tag. But that's probably my favorite one. I really like the powers, and I really like the powers next to Heisenberg's, and I just really like how it turns out. And it is part 1 of Buttercup, but I think this one only has 2 parts. And part 2, I think, is a smut thing in relation to like the ending of this fic. I also, does it say how many chapters it is? I always cut out how many chapters it is, but it is quite a long one. And reading through it like second, third, fourth time is a little bit harder because the chapters are like quite thick and meaty. And with like a second read through, I'm like, I just want to get to the part of like this specific scene. So that's the only thing, but I love it. And then on the gay side of Resident Evil 8, we have Adjustments by NB Dummy. You notice, lady, it's not Dimitrescu. It's not. How does the Duke say it? He says like Dimitrescu. I think that's how he says it. You notice Lady Dimitrescu hunched over her desk in pain, and for reasons you don't fully understand yet, want to take care of her. Part 1 of the Adjustments Extended Universe. I don't remember how many parts that has. And I think when I was reading this, that those were like the extra stories were in development. I love this fic. It's funny because it was another one I was thinking of and couldn't remember the title. And weirdly enough, I don't have it bookmarked. I like this one a lot. There is another one that I like a little bit better, but again, I couldn't find that. But this one's really cool because yes, it's like it's YN, you're putting your name in there. But I like that this one, I don't know, I feel like the author of this one did a really good job of putting just enough where you're like, okay, it is self-insert, but also puts in plenty of like, this is an established character. The slash reader is like an actual established character. And I don't know, I really like the balance of that. I love Lady Dimitrescu, and I love the daughters, and I love like a found family. I love all of it. And what's the maid's name? Does it say? It doesn't say her name, but who is the maid that when you're playing Resident Evil 8 and you're in the castle, that you read her letter and she's like, another one was taken to the basement? It has that lady in it. And I love her popping up in Resident Evil fics as like the maid that works at the castle and like serves the lady. And I like that in a lot of fics they actually have like a relationship as like her oldest and like most trusted maid. I actually like that. Oh, and this is the last one. I forgot. I this is funny too because I didn't put this in the original video of this, so I'm including it. Has anybody, because I feel like online I haven't seen too many people Like, the TikTok edits are few and far between. Although, the last time I was searching for TikTok edits was like a year ago. So maybe by now people have seen it. Has anybody seen Love Between Fairy and Devil? It's a Chinese drama. It literally feels like somebody reached into my brain and made something specifically for me. I am Orchid. Orchid is me. Spoiler, pre-rediscovering that she's the goddess, because I don't know who the fuck that is, but that is not the Orchid we get to know. Orchid? That is not the Orchid we get to know through the whole thing. And I get like, oh, she's the goddess, but she doesn't forget her life as Orchid. I have beef with the ending of that show, but it is probably my favorite show, drama, whatever we want to call it. So this is a fic called Twin Fates, and it's Yiki? I might be saying that completely wrong. I'm so sorry. And I also, if this is like horribly white woman butchering, The Moon Supreme. I'm going to try to say the name and I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong. And I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to put in like my best effort. Dongfang King Kang. I think that's how you say it. I'm probably very wrong. Please yell at me in the comments. It's okay. You can yell at me for butchering the name. Remained steady, almost uninterested, like he'd gone through the conversation thousands of times. He tucked a loose end of the gauze against her skin. If I'm no weapon, then I am nothing. No, if a weapon is what you want to be, so be it. I won't stop you, but there is so much more to you than that. His face was starless and carefully empty. Like what? I love one straight couple. And it's this couple. It is Orchid and The Moon Supreme. I love them. They're perfect. I know this isn't an original thing from Love Between Fairy and Devil specifically, but I know I saw one time on Tumblr, it was a picture or a gift set of the two of them, and it was like, when is a monster no longer a monster? When it is loved. That is them. I love one straight couple. It is them. They mean everything to me. I love this fic. Their story in the drama is already like so complicated and like so rewarding. But then you read this fic and you're like, I didn't think it was going to get better until it fucking does. Also, it's where's the tag? Which I don't know if there are other fics like this, because this was not a dynamic that I was super familiar with until I read this fic, which is Sentinel and Guide. That's like their dynamic in this. I haven't read any fics or really any fiction with that vibe, so I'm assuming it's good because this shit slaps. So if anybody is into like that kind of dynamic and you don't even know about this drama, go read this, because this is really good. And I feel like, again, I don't know much about it, but I feel like that dynamic is like well done here. Okay, so those are my fic recs. Again, ABO Slut, Vegas Defender. I haven't finished Kin Porsche, okay? I'm only about halfway through. You learned some new things about me today. You may have already known these things about me, but I don't know. And isn't it lovely that there's no Marvel and no Steric in this one? I think we've moved on from that. Do I still read both? Sometimes. Do I have millions of bookmarks for them? Yes. Is it nice for a change of scenery? Also, yes. So yeah, everybody pray that you actually get to see this one. Because if this video also dies on me, I'm not filming this again for probably another 2 years. We'll have a 4-year drought instead of a 2-year drought. And like I said, maybe the link inside on fic recs are the friends we made along the way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!